common right now to find somebody who has paid maybe $60,000 or $65,000 for a very high-end pickup truck. Well, even the average pickup truck now is going to be crossing over that $50,000 barrier.
Dealerships are unloading failed trucks onto buyers, and they're hoping you're next. These are not just slow sellers. They're machines built on bad bets, abandoned by loyalists, and now buried under desperate markdowns. But no one's warning you, because every time one of these trucks leaves the lot, someone else takes the loss. Which trucks are being dumped the fastest? Why are automakers still pretending nothing's wrong? And how close are you to making the same mistake? Because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which models smart buyers are running from, and why only the uninformed are left behind. Honda Ridgeline. Comfort, smooth handling, and clever utility features define this truck's appeal. Designed more like a sport utility vehicle than a traditional pickup, it was built for the driveway, not the job site. With independent suspension, car-like dynamics, and a quiet cabin, it offers a surprisingly refined experience for daily driving. Under the hood, a 3,500 cubic centimeter V6 engine delivers 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque, more than enough for light hauling or weekend tasks. It can tow up to 5,000 pounds and comes with smart features like a dual-action tailgate and a hidden in-bed trunk that other pickups simply do not offer. Pricing starts at $39,400, putting it squarely in the midsize premium range. Yet these strengths became its greatest weaknesses. Traditional truck buyers never saw it as legitimate. The unibody frame, while great for comfort, lacks the rugged durability and strength associated with true pickups. It does not offer the solid rear axle, high payload ratings, or heavy-duty towing capabilities demanded by work crews and off-road enthusiasts. That perception that it is not a real truck has haunted the Ridgeline since its debut. Hardcore truck owners dismissed it as soft, and crossover shoppers preferred more fuel-efficient alternatives. Even with manufacturer incentives like 0% financing, maintenance bundles, and dealer-installed accessories, demand has remained lukewarm at best. The Ridgeline is often passed over by buyers who want either serious capability or serious savings, neither of which it convincingly offers. Its place in the market has always been unclear. But if fake toughness is one thing, pretending to be premium is another kind of disaster. GMC Canyon. Premium intentions only go so far when the foundation remains unchanged. This mid-sized truck promises a more refined experience over its twin, the Chevrolet Colorado, but under the sheet metal, it is virtually the same machine, powered by a 2,700 cubic centimeter turbocharged four-cylinder engine, delivering 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. It certainly performs well on paper. The issue lies in perception and pricing. Buyers quickly realize that they are paying thousands more for subtle differences in interior materials and exterior styling. GMC targeted customers who wanted comfort and capability in equal measure. With chrome accents, softer trims, and Denali badging, the Canyon aimed to stand out as a luxury-leaning pickup in a rugged market. However, the improvements over the Colorado are minimal at best. The driving experience, technology packages, and mechanical reliability remain practically identical. Even loyal GMC customers struggle to justify the higher price tag, which ranges from $3,000 to $5,000 more than its Chevrolet sibling depending on the trim. Dealerships across the country are feeling the pressure. To spark interest, they are stacking incentives, cash discounts, extended warranties, free accessories. Yet inventory continues to sit. The truck has landed in an uncomfortable position. It is too expensive to appeal to practical buyers and not upscale enough to win over those seeking true luxury. As more mid-size competitors hit the market with better tech and lower pricing, the Canyon's identity as a dressed-up copy feels harder to defend. In a market where value and distinction matter more than ever, this badge-engineered premium pitch just does not land. And speaking of overpriced mistakes, this next one thought silence would sell trucks. Before we continue unveiling the trucks you should absolutely avoid, let us know in the comments if you've seen any of these models on the lot lately. Hit the subscribe button if you're tired of dealerships pushing these trucks onto buyers. Ford F-150. Lightning, power, innovation, and environmental promise drove the excitement behind this truck. When the Ford F-150 Lightning was unveiled, it was marketed as the future of American pickups. With up to 580 horsepower and an astonishing 775 pound-feet of torque, it could outrun most gas-powered rivals. Its towing capacity of up to 10,000 pounds and its ability to sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds made it seem like a technological triumph. However, reality arrived quickly and harshly. Ford had promised up to 320 miles of range, but that number crumbled in real-world usage. Hauling a trailer, loading down the bed, or simply driving at highway speeds caused the range to drop drastically, often falling to as little as 160 miles on a full charge. For traditional truck buyers who rely on consistent, predictable performance for work and long-distance travel, that kind of variability was unacceptable. Range anxiety was no longer a buzzword, it was a daily obstacle. Then came the price tag. While base models initially seemed affordable, higher trims soared past $100,000, even with government rebates factored in. That pushed the Lightning far beyond the reach of working-class buyers, the very core of Ford's traditional truck audience. Dealerships responded with massive discounts, offering up to $15,000 in rebates, 0% financing, and free home charging incentives. But if going electric failed, sticking to the past did not help this next nameplate either. Ram Classic. Affordability, familiarity, and simplicity gave this truck its appeal. The Ram Classic was never designed to lead in innovation or flash. Instead, it offered a back-to-basics driving experience with reliable capability at a lower cost. Equipped with either a 3,600 cubic centimeter V6 engine producing 305 horsepower or an available 5,700 cubic centimeter Hemi Fulv 8 engine generating 395 horsepower, the Classic had enough muscle to tow and haul with confidence. But while competitors evolved with touchscreen interfaces, driver assist systems, and cabin tech that rivaled luxury vehicles, the Classic stayed stuck in the early 2010s. Hard plastics, outdated dashboard layouts, and an interface that lacked the features buyers now expect made it feel ancient. At first, this retro simplicity appealed to some. There was a market for a no-nonsense truck that avoided complexity. Yet that window of opportunity has closed. Buyers today are comparing options more critically, and the Classic now feels like a compromise rather than a smart purchase. Dealerships are now flooded with unsold Ram Classic models, with some lots reporting over 175 days of inventory. To move them, sellers are offering thousands of dollars in discounts, bundled accessories, and favorable financing packages. Still, the truck struggles to gain traction. Its once charming, old-school personality now reads as tired and outdated. In an industry that demands progress, the Classic failed to keep up. What was once a dependable fallback option has become a symbol of stagnation. Useful, yes, but uninspiring and ultimately forgettable. And while Ram clings to nostalgia, another old-school icon tried to modernize and failed even harder. Toyota Tundra. Power, reliability, and long-term dependability were once the pillars of this truck's reputation. It was trusted by contractors, off-roaders, and rural families alike. For years, buyers could count on a naturally aspirated V8 engine that delivered smooth, predictable output with very little fuss. The Tundra had earned its place in the full-size segment as a no-nonsense workhorse that could tow, haul, and survive harsh conditions without breaking a sweat. Its straightforward mechanical design gave owners peace of mind, and many models passed the 200,000-mile mark without major issues. This was a truck built for the long haul, and people loved it for that. Then came the redesign in the year 2022. Toyota made the bold decision to replace the beloved EU-V8 with a twin-turbocharged hybrid V6, producing a substantial 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. On paper, it was a major leap forward: more power, better fuel economy, and modern towing tech. But among longtime owners, the reaction was swift and bitter. The new system introduced more complexity, added weight, and raised concerns about long-term maintenance. Questions about battery degradation, turbo reliability, and hybrid repair costs began to overshadow the truck's impressive stats. Even professional reviews, while generally positive, noted that the truck's overall character had changed. It no longer felt bulletproof. It felt engineered for a different buyer entirely. And that shift alienated Toyota's most loyal customers. Dealerships began offering deep discounts, loyalty bonuses, and extended service packages to regain trust. But the emotional damage was already done. But not every truck fails because it changed. Some fail because they didn't change at all. Nissan Frontier. Simplicity, affordability, and grit were what made this mid-size pickup a staple in the early 2000s. It was the go-to truck for those who valued ruggedness over refinement, delivering dependable performance with minimal fuss. For over a decade, the Frontier remained almost entirely unchanged. While rivals evolved with sleek interiors, advanced tech, and better ride quality, this truck stayed frozen in time. By the time the full redesign finally arrived in the year 2022, the market had already moved on. The new Frontier came equipped with a 3,870 cubic centimeter V6 engine producing 310 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. The ride was smoother. The interior received a long overdue refresh, and it finally included competitive technology. It should have been a major comeback. Instead, it landed with a thud. Buyers were not lining up. Instead, they were choosing more established rivals like the Toyota Tacoma and Ford Ranger, trucks that had already spent years evolving with consumer demands. Even though the new Frontier was objectively better in every measurable way, it struggled to shake off the perception of being outdated. Shoppers remembered the years of neglect. They remembered how long Nissan let it sit without improvement, and those memories were stronger than the spec sheet. Inventory began to pile up. Dealers responded with 0% financing, accessory bundles, and aggressive trade-in offers, but momentum never materialized. The redesign was simply too late. The Frontier was not a bad truck, it was just a forgotten one, trying to rejoin a race it had stopped running years ago. Still, trying too little is one thing. Trying too hard, that belongs to the next disaster. Chevrolet Colorado. Aggressive styling, a powerful turbocharged engine, and a bold redesign made this mid-size pickup one of the most talked about trucks in recent years. It came equipped with a 2,700 cubic centimeter four-cylinder turbocharged engine capable of delivering an impressive 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. With muscular lines, off-road packages, and multiple tech-laden trims like the ZR2 and Trail Boss, the Chevrolet Colorado promised to dominate both pavement and trail. Yet that promise quickly unraveled when buyers saw the price tag. Compared to its direct rivals, such as the Toyota Tacoma and the Ford Ranger, the Chevrolet Colorado consistently launched with a higher starting price and rapidly climbed into full-size truck territory as trim levels increased. Even longtime Chevrolet fans found themselves shocked at how quickly the base price ballooned into luxury pickup numbers, especially when the upgrades often felt more cosmetic than mechanical. For a mid-sized truck, it carried ambitions that its target market simply did not share. This mismatch between design intent and real-world value crippled the model's momentum. Buyers expected the Colorado to undercut competitors on price while offering Chevrolet reliability and performance. Instead, many walked away after realizing they could buy a full-size pickup for the same money, or less. Dealerships responded with generous cash incentives, aggressive lease terms, and bundled upgrades, but the damage was already done. In many regions, unsold models now gather dust, while dealers struggle to explain what makes this truck worth the premium. It looked the part, it drove well enough. But in today's tightening economy, style alone no longer sells. But if mid-size misfires hurt, full-size confusion might be even worse. GMC Sierra 1500. Upscale touches, a refined ride, and high-end trim packages helped shape this truck's reputation as a more luxurious take on the classic American pickup. The GMC Sierra 1500 offered the same core strengths as its mechanical twin, the Chevrolet Silverado 1500, a shared frame, matching engine options, identical suspension, and towing capacities that could reach well over 30,000 pounds depending on configuration. But behind all the chrome and stitched leather was a price increase that left buyers questioning everything. Depending on the trim level, the Sierra 1500 could cost anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 more than a similarly equipped Silverado. And the differences? Largely cosmetic. The badge was different. The grille was fancier. The trim pieces were shinier. Mechanically, it was the same truck, and savvy shoppers noticed. As inflation continued to bite and interest rates climbed, consumers became more critical than ever about what they were actually getting for their money. This erosion in perceived value struck hard. Buyers looking for true luxury gravitated toward other brands offering real differentiation, like Ram's limited trim with genuine wood and a truly upscale cabin. Meanwhile, practical buyers stuck with the Silverado or sought out more affordable options altogether. Dealerships tried to push the Sierra with discounts, discounts, loyalty offers, and service perks. But the stigma stuck. It was simply too expensive for what it was. The result? Slowing sales, growing inventory, and a truck caught in the crossfire between aspiration and reality. Speaking of full-size legends that lost their way, this next one used to be the gold standard. Ford F-150. Capability has always been the Ford F-150's strongest appeal. For decades, it served as the ultimate do-it-all pickup, used by construction crews, ranchers, families, and small businesses across the country. With a wide range of trims, engines, and configurations, it offered something for everyone. Whether buyers wanted a basic work truck or a luxurious daily driver, the F-150 had a version to meet that need. Available powertrains include V6, V8, hybrid, and even fully electric options. Towing capacity reaches up to 14,000 pounds, and payload ratings are among the best in class. On paper, it remains one of the most versatile and high-performing full-size trucks available in the United States. However, that versatility now comes at a cost many can no longer justify. Over the past few years, prices for the F-150 have crept higher and higher. Today, many well-equipped models push past $70,000, with top trims like the Limited and Platinum surpassing $100,000 when fully loaded. Even the entry-level models are not immune. Dealer markups, package bundling, and shifting production priorities have pushed what was once a budget-friendly icon out of reach for everyday buyers. As interest rates climb and wages stagnate, the F-150 has slowly shifted from a working man's tool to a luxury commodity. The result? Buyer hesitation, even among Ford loyalists. Sales remain strong overall, but inventory for higher trims is building. Dealerships have responded with 0% financing, cash bonuses, and loyalty incentives. But the problem runs deeper than pricing alone. The truck is no longer viewed as simple or straightforward. And if being too fancy backfires, being too weird doesn't help either. Jeep Gladiator. Adventure styling and off-road capability are what first pull people toward the Jeep Gladiator. With its removable doors, upright windshield, and signature 7-slot grille, it looks like no other truck on the market. Underneath, it shares much of its platform and DNA with the Jeep Wrangler, including real 4-wheel drive systems, solid front and rear axles, and trail-rated durability. The Gladiator is powered by a 3,600 cubic centimeter V6 engine making 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. For rock crawling, trail running, or dune climbing, it is genuinely capable right out of the box. Unfortunately, most truck buyers do not live on dirt roads. They commute, carry gear, run errands, and drive long distances, and that is where the Gladiator falls apart. On pavement, it suffers from jittery ride quality, vague steering, excessive road noise, and awkward proportions. Its long wheelbase creates handling quirks not present in the Wrangler, and while it can tow and haul, it does so with less refinement than competitors. In daily use, its compromises pile up quickly. Buyers are soon reminded that off-road flair does not equal everyday comfort. Then comes the pricing shock. Many Gladiators, especially the Rubicon and Mojave trims, easily stretch past $50,000. Fully loaded versions often cross $60,000, compared to smoother, more capable alternatives with higher towing capacity and better interior quality. That price feels hard to swallow. Dealerships are now offering deep discounts, special edition packages, and off-road gear bundles just to move units. At least the Gladiator had personality. This next one barely has a pulse. Nissan Titan. Strong towing capability, bold styling, and a powerful V8 engine were supposed to make this full-size pickup a serious contender in the American truck market. Beneath the hood, a 5,600 cubic centimeter 8-cylinder engine produced a robust 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. It could haul with authority, tow heavy loads, and looked every bit the part of a hard-working American truck. The cabin was comfortable, well-equipped, and competitive with the best in the segment. On paper, it checked nearly every box. In practice, the Nissan Titan never truly connected with buyers. Despite solid engineering and performance, it lacked what mattered most in this space: reputation. Loyalty plays a massive role in the truck market, and Nissan never managed to break into the cultural identity held by the American brands. Even impressive warranty coverage and occasional exclusive features were not enough to earn long-term trust. When buyers think of full-size workhorses, they think of Ford, Ram, and Chevrolet, not Nissan. And without that emotional or historical connection, connection. The Titan felt like a capable outsider trying to force its way in. In the year 2023, Nissan officially pulled the plug, production ended, and the Titan joined the growing list of discontinued pickups. Since then, unsold models have lingered on dealership lots despite deep incentives. Dealers have offered more than $5,000 in cash discounts, special financing packages, and extended warranties to move inventory. Yet, many trucks remain untouched. For buyers, the uncertainty around long-term support and plummeting resale value is simply too much. The only thing worse than being forgotten is being stuck in the middle of nowhere. Ford Ranger, balanced size, strong turbocharged power, and everyday usability were meant to make this mid-sized truck a perfect in-betweener. It comes with a 2,300 cubic centimeter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine delivering 270 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Agile enough for city driving, yet rugged enough for weekend towing and light-duty hauling. It seemed like an ideal compromise. The Ranger aimed to satisfy drivers who wanted capability without the bulk of a full-size truck. On paper, it made complete sense. In practice, it struggled to find an audience. Its biggest problem was not its performance, it was its placement. The Ford Ranger is wedged awkwardly between two siblings, the Ford Maverick and the Ford F-150. That left the Ranger floating in an identity vacuum. It was not affordable enough to attract value-conscious shoppers, and not commanding enough to pull loyalty away from full-size buyers. The result? Tepid sales and lukewarm enthusiasm. Focus groups repeatedly described the Ranger as forgettable, present on the lot but missing from buyers' shortlists. Dealerships have responded by bundling upgrades, such as free bed liners, towing packages, and extended loans. Some are even pushing steep cash incentives, but demand remains soft. The Ranger is not a bad truck, yet it lacks a compelling reason to exist within its own brand lineup. It does everything reasonably well, but nothing exceptionally, and in a crowded market, that just is not enough. But if identity confusion kills, legacy decay finishes the job. Chevrolet Silverado, 1500. Durability has always been the hallmark of the Chevrolet Silverado, 1,500. It is a truck built for hard work, favored by farmers, contractors, and rural drivers who need a machine that can tow, haul, and keep going when lesser vehicles would buckle. The powertrain options are solid, including a 5,300 cubic centimeter V8 and a larger 6,200 cubic centimeter V8, both delivering impressive torque and towing capacity. Whether it is pulling a trailer across the state or handling rough backroad terrain, the Silverado performs with confidence. For decades, it has earned its place on job sites and back roads, thanks to a legacy of dependability. Yet in the modern pickup landscape, toughness is not enough. The last major redesign of the Silverado arrived in the year 2019, and since then, rivals have surged ahead in design, comfort, and technology. While other manufacturers added luxurious interiors with large digital displays, soft-touch materials, and modern infotainment systems, the Silverado still leans heavily on hard plastics and a layout that feels closer to the year 2015. The cabin experience, once acceptable, now feels cheap and outdated, especially when some trims inch past the $60,000 mark. Buyers have noticed. When spending that kind of money, expectations have shifted. They want not just reliability, but also refinement, innovation, and connectivity. As a result, dealerships are facing stagnant inventory and sluggish interest, especially on higher trims. Incentives now include over $5,000 in discounts, long-term financing plans, and bundled service packages. Still, even loyalists are beginning to question whether the Silverado offers enough beyond its familiar toughness. In a market that continues to evolve, the Silverado 1500 risks being left behind, not for lack of strength, but for lack of progress. And finally, we reach the truck that tried to be everything and ended up being nothing. Ram 1500. Refinement, ride quality, and upscale interior materials once made the Ram 1500 the gold standard of full-size pickups. This was the truck that proved you could have both muscle and luxury in a single package. From real wood trim and premium leather seating to oversized touchscreens and an exceptionally quiet cabin, the Ram redefined what buyers could expect from a work-ready truck. It drove like a sport utility vehicle, towed like a champion, and looked more like a premium sedan inside than a rugged workhorse. For years, It was the best in class by nearly every measure. Then came the overproduction crisis. While competitors like Ford and General Motors adjusted their output in response to rising interest rates and declining demand in the year 2024, Ram made a critical mistake. They kept building. Inventory ballooned, especially in premium trims that carried price tags above $60,000. Dealership lots filled rapidly, and many locations ended up sitting on more than 175 days of unsold stock. Suddenly, the truck that once felt exclusive and top tier became overexposed and underwhelming. To move inventory, Ram dealerships began offering record-high rebates, generous trade-in bonuses, 0% financing, and even maintenance bundles. Yet the damage had already been done. Buyers started questioning the value. In a tightening economy, even well-heeled customers hesitated to invest in a truck that had lost its market shine. Perception shifted almost overnight from a benchmark of excellence to a clearance rack casualty. The Ram 1500 remains an outstanding truck on paper, but in the real world it now sits unsold, the victim of its own momentum and a misread market. Luxury and capability could not save it from the weight of overconfidence. If you're still considering one of these trucks, now's the time to rethink. Whether it's overpriced options or outdated features, these models are sinking faster than a rock. Be sure to stay informed and avoid making a purchase you'll regret. If you found this helpful, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe for more insights into the vehicles you should avoid.